This is not the home crowd for the Dallas Wankers. This is not the crowd for the homecoming of Angel Reese as she visits her former team in Chicago. This was not the crowd for a No Kings protest in Boodle Flute, New York. This was the crowd size last night for the Indiana Felines, also known as the Caitlin Clarks. And if the WNBA isn't careful, this could be their immediate future. The announced attendance last night in Indianapolis was just over 14,000. Now, I am no expert in counting crowds. Matter of fact, I tend to avoid crowds. But to me, it looked like the arena was filled to half capacity, which would mean there was less than 10,000 people in attendance last night for the most popular team in pretend basketball. This was unheard of the last couple of years. The Felines were a guaranteed sellout every game. Uncle KC fans of the Indiana Felines are mad, mad, mad. 90 minutes before tip-off, they announced that the Great White Hope was gonna sit out. They are load managing our hero. They are mistreating Caitlin Clark. This is outrageous. I'll be the first to admit that Caitlin Clark fans can be a bit overdramatic. But just because they are overdramatic, that does not mean they don't have a point. You have assistant coaches arguing with the Great White Hope on the sidelines. There is video of Stephanie White, the head coach of the Indiana Felines, and arguably the most hated coach in the WNBA, in their game against the Seattle Spankers. Stephanie White was aggressively grabbing Caitlin Clark by the arm. To make matters worse, to promote their game against the Spankers, and you gotta remember, every game featuring Caitlin Clark, whether she is on the bench or on the court, every game is nationally televised. To promote their game against the Seattle Spankers, this is the promo that the WNBA sent out on social media. They literally grabbed two faces off of the missing persons report and put those faces on the promo. If you gave me a list of two names and told me to identify these women, I would not be able to do it. This would be like the NBA promoting a game between the Knicks and the Bulls in 1996, and instead of Michael Jordan and Patrick Ewing on the poster, they put Dickie Simpkins and Gary Grant on the promo. At every available opportunity, this dump of a league goes out of their way to diminish Caitlin Clark. The question is why? Uncle KC, the WNBA is an equity league. They want all players to feel like winners. They want to share the spotlight. They want all unknowns in this league to believe they are huge stars. Yeah, equity is definitely a part of it. And in their defense, the WNBA desperately needs to create new stars. Problem is, no one cares about the unknown players in this league. But I think the WNBA's quest to diminish Caitlin Clark, I think it goes a little bit deeper. Like I told you guys before, I'm starting to wonder if the league knows something about Caitlin Clark that we don't. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. So I can get the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Sugar Mountain Trading. Glenn is one of my longtime viewers. Matter of fact, he calls himself Cousin Glenn. He's been watching me here on the channel for years. Several months ago, he strained his shoulder while picking up his dog to take her outside. He thought the pain would go away, but weeks later, he was still dealing with shoulder pain, over-the-counter meds, doing nothing for him. Like most of my daily viewers, Glenn had been hearing me talk about the efficiency of the CBD lotion from Sugar Mountain Trading for a couple of years. So, several weeks ago, Glenn ordered his first bottle of CBD lotion from Sugar Mountain. He applied the lotion to his shoulder. Several minutes later, his pain was gone. My uncle has been using the CBD from Sugar Mountain Trading since around Thanksgiving to alleviate his pain so he can go to sleep at night. He was using pain meds, but he doesn't take the pain medication anymore because he doesn't need it. The CBD effectively alleviates his pain. I have got countless stories from viewers, friends, family. They all tell me the same thing. They cannot believe this stuff actually works. There is a reason Sugar Mountain Trading has been with me here on the channel for almost 2 years now. My audience keeps buying their CBD because Sugar Mountain Trading is the real deal. All CBD products offered at Sugar Mountain Trading, 100% natural, 100% free of THC. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Use my promo code BTL25, BTL25. Receive 25% off your first purchase with Sugar Mountain Trading. Last night, the Indiana Felines announced 90 minutes before the game started that Caitlin Clark was going to miss the game due to a back injury. Now, her fans are accusing the organization of load management. They are feeling ripped off because they vastly overpaid for tickets to see a collection of unknowns sedate them with a painfully boring game. I mean, seriously, listen to some of these scoring leaders from the game last night. You tell me if you would be willing to pay $200-300 to watch this. Bridget Carlton, Sarah Ashley Barker, Tyasha Harris. Who, and who? That sounds like the cast of The Real Housewives of Gay Georgia. Sarah Ashley is cheating on Bridget with Tyasha. Girl, it is so scandalous. There is no denying the fact that Caitlin Clark fans are revolting against the Fever organization. Season tickets, not sold out. Thousands of empty seats throughout the arena. They are demanding that head coach Stephanie White be fired or Caitlin Clark be traded. Meanwhile, the WNBA is bending over the rainbow to promote everyone not named Caitlin Clark. Why? Why would you diminish your cash cow? Why would you decrease the value of not only your greatest asset? You can make a strong case that Caitlin Clark is their only asset. Without Caitlin Clark, this Titanic sinks. You gotta remember, WNBA players are no longer making minimum wage. If this league returns to their rightful place of bankruptcy and having to be heavily subsidized by the NBA, we're not talking about the WNBA losing $10 million a season. They could potentially lose hundreds of millions of dollars a year. This is pure speculation on my part. I think the diva of dump divas, Kat Engelbert, is worried about the long-term future of Caitlin Clark, especially as the face of the league. Back injuries can be very serious. Now, I don't know the extent of the back problems that Caitlin Clark is dealing with. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, and I don't pretend to be a doctor like Jill Biden, but a back injury for a basketball player, it can potentially be career-altering. Typically, not something that gets better as you age. If Caitlin Clark was a role player, or if someone like AZ Fudd was dealing with back problems, who cares? No big deal. No one is paying to see AZ Fudd. Hell, at this stage of her career, she's like Bronny James. She's a Make-A-Wish player. Many believe the only reason she was drafted #1 overall by the Dallas Wankers was to appease Paige Beckers. But with Caitlin Clark, who is without a doubt the face of the league, long-term back issues can be a major problem. You can't be the face of the league and be unavailable. At one point, Dwight Howard was poised to be the next face of the NBA. In the late 2000s, NBA general managers, they were polled. They were asked who they would build their franchise around, Dwight Howard or LeBron James. Vast majority of GMs, they chose Dwight Howard. From 2006 to around 2011, Dwight Howard was being built to be the face of the league. What happened? He got a back injury in the playoffs, and Dwight Howard was never the same. Make no mistake about it. This is a major concern for the WNBA. The league using unknown players in promos instead of Caitlin Clark, I think they are doing that intentionally. They know her fan base will be pissed off about it. They will flood social media with complaints. This is reverse racism! Why is Bob Greiner on the poster instead of Caitlin Clark? This is not an advertisement for Just for Men. They are promoting pretend basketball. Every time you complain about it, you are doing exactly what the WNBA wants you to do. They receive more impressions when people are outraged, which means more people see the promo and potentially watch the game. I know Angel Reese and AJ Wilson, but my name is Asia. It doesn't matter what your name is. I know Angel and AJ pulled over 1 million viewers Sunday on NBC, but Angel Reese is not ready to be the face of this league, and Asia Wilson, she will never be the face of the WNBA because most people have no desire to watch her play. This dump is 100% reliant on Caitlin Clark. They have just committed millions of dollars to players who have no ability to generate the revenue needed to justify those salaries. Now, was Caitlin Clark healthy enough to play last night? Probably, but from a business perspective, was it worth the risk? Absolutely not. I think her back problems are far more serious than they are letting on. First game of the season, Caitlin Clark wearing a back brace. She hadn't played since last summer. She only played a handful of games last season. First game back after a long layoff, and she's already wearing a back brace. She's having to sit on one of those boodle cushions while on the bench. So it's understandable why the felines are being overly cautious. But this is very concerning for the WNBA. You have the fan base that elevated your league into the mainstream, revolting against their own team. The optics are horrendous. Caitlin Clark is arguing with coaches. At times, Stephanie White looks like she can't stand her best player, and the long-term future of the Great White Hope is in serious doubt. It's a recipe for disaster. You have all the ingredients needed for a flaming ass fire. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.